What's going on, everyone? This is Lucas Ross Sports, Lucas Ross, your commentator, and we continue our 2022 college football predictions. The Kansas Jayhawks are up next. I'll give you an official record for this team, give you my thoughts on this team, and go through the schedule, and we will go from there. Before we do that, though, let's look back at 2021 for this Kansas team. In 2021, the Kansas Jayhawks went 2-10, exactly the record that I predicted them to go. I think this team, has not been good for the last few years. Let's say Kansas has not been good for the last few years. They had one Big 12 win, though, and that was Texas last year. This team really upsetted Texas last year, and people really expect Kansas to be all that great again, but let's just say the overall production percentage they have coming back this year is good, but they don't have the talent I think everybody else has. Their offense and defensive rankings pretty similar last year, 111th on offense last year in the country, 129th on defense. Those are, not surprising numbers, to be honest. Kansas has not been good for the last few years. Let's be honest with you guys. 20.8 points a game on the offensive side of the ball. That has to be improved. Defensively, they gave up 42.2 points, which is not really surprising. Kansas has had a tough defense over the years, and there's just a lot of, negativity around the Kansas football team over the years. But this team could have close games. This team could have close games this season, and I'm expecting Kansas to be a lot better than people might say, but probably not a lot of wins, let's be honest. But we have to go through the schedule here, and here is that schedule for Kansas. You see that opening game against Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech is a game that they kick off against. This should be an easy win here for Kansas to kick off the year. I mean, Kansas should really take care of business in this one against Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech is not really that great of an FCS team, let's be honest. And I think, Kansas will pull away in this one, and I think they will take care of business. Next game on the road at West Virginia. They open up Big 12 play here. This is a tough way to start, September. They have a tough non-conference schedule in September. I mean, you look at, West Virginia is a Big 12 team, but, let's go through the West Virginia game first. West Virginia is a team that has a lot of question marks on offense. Defensively, they bring quite a bit back, but not everybody back on the defensive side. The production percentage goes to Kansas in this game, but West Virginia, I think, has more talent than Kansas, and I think West Virginia will win this one, not by a blowout, but, maybe first half, I think Kansas does compete, and then it's all West Virginia. So, Kansas will have a lot of close games. I'll go through the schedule here and really give you guys what games they can really compete in. And then there's that game on the road at Houston. We know how good Houston was last year. Let's be honest, Houston was one of the second best American athletic teams, or Athletic Coast Conference teams in the country last year behind Cincinnati. But this game is on the road. Kansas could potentially compete in this game, but I don't really see that happening. I think Kansas will not compete against Houston in this game. I think it's going to be too tough of a challenge here, and I think Kansas will lose to Houston here on the road. Those are back-to-back road games as well, which is brutal in September. And then there's that game against Duke at home on September 24th. Duke is a team that, I went through on Monday that, might struggle this year. Duke has, not a lot coming back this year. They're going to be a young team, just like this Kansas team. They're going to be a little bit young, but, Kansas has the returning production percentage. I think they have more talent than Duke, but it's a shootout game. It's a back-and-forth contest, but as you saw in my Duke prediction, I did pick Kansas to win. I think with the offensive production coming back for Kansas and the talent they have on the defense coming back, I think Kansas will win against Duke. Not going to be an easy game, but, it's a game that Kansas can win, and I think I have confidence in Kansas in winning this game. Next game at home against Iowa State. First Big 12 matchup since September 10th. Iowa State's going to be a really young team this year. I know in my Iowa State video that I predicted Kansas to win this game because I think Kansas has the returning production percentage for them. Iowa State has more talent than Kansas, but I just think the offense and defensive side of the ball for Iowa State's going to be really young this year. And I think it's going to really depend on what they are going to look like on offense. Iowa State, though, it will be a close game. It's going to be a back-and-forth game. To be honest with you guys, it will be a back-and-forth contest. But Kansas, I think, does win it here. Home field advantage is good for them as well. And I think Kansas will win that one. So they get their first Big 12 win there. TCU on October 8th. TCU is going to be a really interesting team this year. They bring almost everybody back on both sides of the ball. TCU is a team to watch out for in the Big 12 this year. I think a lot of people are kind of doubting them, but I am not doubting this TCU team. I think this is a team that has to be looked out for. I think Kansas will compete maybe in the first half, but TCU offensively and defensively, they'll step up, and I think they will defeat Kansas in this game. It will be a close game. It will be a close game. Kansas is going to have a lot of games that are going to be close this year than people might say, but this is a game that I don't really, see Kansas winning. TCU is going to be a really interesting team. Don't really sleep on that TCU team. Next game on the road at Oklahoma. We know how Kansas has been trying to beat Oklahoma in the past years. Oklahoma, though, really interesting team this year as well. But questions on the offensive side. Defensively, they should be really good. But this is a game that's on the road, and I don't really see Kansas competing in this game, to be honest with you guys. It's a game that can go either way, but, it's just a game that I don't really see Kansas winning. It's a game that I don't really see Kansas, upsetting Oklahoma on the road. And it's on the road as well. I just don't see Kansas really competing in this game. And, Oklahoma is too talented, way too talented to Kansas. And I think Oklahoma will win. Baylor on the road as well, so they get back-to-back road games. This schedule is really tough for Kansas this year. This is a really tough schedule. Baylor is a team that went to the Big 12 championship, but this game really is going to be close. I think it will be a close in the first half, maybe the first half, but this is on the road. I know that it will be close in the first half, but second half, I give Baylor the advantage, and I think Baylor will pull away in the second half, and I think Baylor will defeat Kansas at the end of the day. I mean, Baylor might be ranked in the top 25 at this point, but Kansas is trying to really desperately get a win. They are trying desperate to get a win somehow, some way, but they get to November now. Oklahoma State is at home this year. Oklahoma State has quite a lot coming back on offense. Defensively, they're going to be really young. How good will this Oklahoma State team be after last year? We don't really know. The question is on defense or, offense a little bit, but this is a game that Kansas, I think, will be close in the first half. Second half, I think it's just going to be all Oklahoma State. Defensively, Oklahoma State should be better by this time, and I think it's going to be Oklahoma State that does win. Kansas will be close, though. Don't really sleep on this Kansas team this year. They're going to have some close games. I think they will have some close games. Some heartbreaking losses, though. This might be another heartbreaker, but, Oklahoma State is too talented. Just all these teams that have more talent than Kansas as well. There's that game on the road at Texas Tech there. Texas Tech is a team that has a lot of question marks on offense. Defensively, they bring quite a bit back as well, but, this is a game that's on the road, and I don't really see Kansas, winning this one. Texas Tech has more talent than Kansas. Texas Tech was a little bit up and down last year, but this is a team that can really try to win, more games. But this game right here, Kansas, I think, does come up short. I think it's a game that can go either way as well, but Texas Tech, though, with it being on the road and the home field advantage there for them, I give it to Texas Tech. There's that game against Texas at home. We know what happened last year, Kansas defeating this Texas team. It was a really big win for them last year. How good will Texas be this year? Texas has a lot coming back on defense, quite a lot coming back on defense. Not quite a lot back on offense, though. Let's be honest with you. The Kansas Jayhawks have more returning production percentage for them. But it's Texas. I think Texas will get revenge in this game. They'll be fired up. And I think it's going to be too much, not too much of a blowout. I think it's a game that can go either way again. But I think Texas will win this time around. And I think they will get revenge in this game, redeem themselves from last year as well. And then there's that final game on the road at Kansas State. Rival game here. Kansas State has owned Kansas in the last few years of football, let's be honest. And I don't really see Kansas, is this the year that Kansas finally defeats Kansas State? Not really. I think it won't. I think it's not going to happen. But it's a game that can go either way. Again, Kansas will have a lot of close games, but I think Kansas State, with them being at home, I think they will win. I know their production percentage goes to Kansas, but let's be honest. All these teams that they're playing have more talent than Kansas. Tennessee Tech doesn't have a lot of talent. Duke doesn't have a lot of talent. But Iowa State still has the talent, but I still think that's the only win that Kansas will get in the Big 12. And the overall prediction for Kansas comes out to be 3-9 overall. I want to let you guys know what you think about this Kansas team down in the comments below. And stay tuned here for more on the Lucas Ross Sports.